And I thought the press conference was like tomorrow, not today.
Never mind.
No,
Never mind. We're here now. Let's get on with it.
We're getting on with it. We're getting on.
I've got to get to the bathhouse, and I'm looking after my grandkids.
Don't worry about it. Arsenal are not going to win anything this year. It's okay, man.
Right, let's sell this fight. Come on.
Joe Joyce is set to clash with the seasoned Dereck Chisora this summer in a heavyweight bout on July 27th at the O2 Arena in London, England. The event's promotional poster features the bold tagline, "Go big or go home." It's quite an intriguing label.
Yeah, it's going to be an entertaining fight because we both, it's a juggernaut against war. So what you know what you're going to get. It's going to crash in the middle. There's going to be sparks and flames. So I'm going to be into camp, preparing my body and my mind and techniques and everything to get the best outcome.
Joyce, a 2016 Olympic silver medalist with a record of 16-2 and 15 knockouts, arguably deserves a higher caliber opponent. His only losses have come against Zhilei Zhang, who also controversially beat Filip Hrgović. Joyce's confidence was already boosted with his last fight, a 10th-round knockout victory over Cash Ali in March. So why is he being pitted against Chisora, who has the air of a journeyman? At 39 this September, Joyce doesn't have the luxury of spending time on confidence-building fights. After his back-to-back losses to Zhang, he should be stepping back into the ring with top-tier heavyweights rather than taking on the over-the-hill 40-year-old Chisora, whose record stands at 34-13 with 23 knockouts.
It's going to be a good fight because Joe don't go backwards, I don't go backwards. So what I'm thinking is, by the time we get there, by the time we finish the fight, someone is going to have less brain cells left in their brain, so...
Yay!
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Well, I hope that's not the case.
Oh, that is the case. Let's be honest about it. That is the case.
And I hope...
Chisora, despite his journeyman status, has amassed a fortune with an estimated net worth of $15 million. This seems surprising, considering his most notable win was against a 38-year-old Carlos Takam. Tyson Fury's 3 bouts against Chisora, seemingly to secure easy wins, have also contributed to Chisora's earnings. Chisora has lost 4 of his last 6 fights, his most recent victory being against 42-year-old Gerald Washington. Many, including myself, saw Chisora's controversial split decision win over 41-year-old Kubrat Pulev in 2022 as another loss. This would make his record 5 losses out of his last 6 fights. While the British audience may be eager to see Joyce and Chisora face off, the rest of the world is likely less enthused. It feels like Joyce's career is being squandered on subpar opposition. Instead, Joyce should be taking on contenders that can elevate his standing and potentially lead to more lucrative opportunities. Fighters like Fabio Wardley, Ajit Cabello, Frank Sanchez, Richard Torres Jr., and Bakhtir Jalilov would be far better choices to help him climb back to the top. Undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez is scheduled for a purse bid on June 6th for his IBF mandatory defense against William Scull. The purse bid was reportedly requested by Scull's management. The IBF has mandated this fight as Canelo's required defense of their belt. Additionally, Canelo's other 3 super middleweight titles, WBA, WBC, and WBO, will also be on the line. There had been speculation that Canelo might defend his title against his WBA mandatory challenger, Edgar Berlanga. Many boxing fans were displeased with the prospect of him fighting Berlanga, whose record, like Scull's, is considered weak and lacking significant names. However, Berlanga at least has some recognition among boxing fans. Some suggest that it might be time for Canelo to start relinquishing some of his titles. This would free him from the obligation to defend against mandatory challengers from various sanctioning bodies, allowing him to choose opponents that the fans are eager to see him fight. Canelo's popularity is such that he does not need to retain multiple titles to affirm his status in the public eye. Less well-known fighters need titles to establish their credibility. Once a boxer has a substantial fan base, titles become more about decoration and less about necessity. It would be intriguing to see whom the IBF would appoint to fight for their belt if Canelo decides to vacate it, thereby avoiding a mandatory defense against an obscure opponent. Defending his titles against someone like Scull, while bypassing notable contenders such as David David Benavidez and David Morrell could appear unwise. The IBF's top 5 contenders at 168 pounds are William Scull, Vladimir Shishkin, Christian Bilai, Edgar Berlanga, and Diego Pacheco.
Has to be moving and pivoting. Oh, and a body shot as McKinson's down for the first time as a pro!
Vergil Ortiz is looking better than ever. He's looking like a beast. I'll tell you one thing, he's coming after everybody.
Vergil Ortiz Jr. has addressed Ryan Garcia's offer to replace Tim Tszyu as his opponent for the August 3rd card in Los Angeles, stating on social media that he has given his manager the green light for the fight. Ortiz is in need of a new adversary after former WBO junior middleweight champion Tim Tszyu withdrew from the bout due to an unhealed cut sustained in his March 30th match against Sebastian Fundora. The initial decision to have Tszyu fight Ortiz on August 3rd was questionable from the beginning, given the severity of Tszyu injury and the insufficient recovery time. If the bout is approved, Ryan Garcia, 25-1 with 20 knockouts, would be making a significant leap from welterweight to junior middleweight to face the undefeated Vergil Ortiz, 21-0, 21 KOs, on the undercard of the Terence Crawford vs. Israel Madrimov event at the BMO Stadium in Los Angeles. However, boxing analyst Dan Rafael casts doubt on the likelihood of Garcia, 25, participating in the fight against Ortiz Jr. due to a probable suspension stemming from his positive test for the banned substance ostarine last April. Rafael notes that if the New York Commission imposes a suspension on Garcia, California will not permit him to compete. The uncertainty surrounding Ortiz Jr.'s next opponent remains, as finding a top-tier replacement with limited time before August 3rd is challenging. Ortiz is a formidable fighter, making it risky for any high-profile contender to step in on such short notice. A potential solution could involve His Excellency Turki Alalshik offering substantial financial incentives to one of the top contenders at 154 pounds. This approach might persuade a top-tier fighter to accept the challenge. Nevertheless, Ortiz Jr.'s association with Golden Boy Promotions adds a layer of complexity, particularly if the replacement fighter is promoted by a different company. As the situation unfolds, fans and analysts alike are eager to see who will ultimately face Vergil Ortiz in what promises to be an exciting card on August 3rd. Anthony Joshua vs. Daniel Dubois are reportedly in negotiations for an all-UK heavyweight showdown on September 21st at Wembley Stadium in London. The rising star Dubois, 21-2 with 20 knockouts, will bring his IBF interim heavyweight title to the ring, and it could potentially be upgraded to the full title by then if the International Boxing Federation makes that decision for the Joshua, 28-3 with 25 knockouts, fight. According to TalkSport, Dubois promoter Frank Warren has disclosed that discussions are currently underway. It's not surprising that Joshua, now 34, is set to fight Dubois, as it appears to be his most viable option for a bout in September. Holding the fight in London means Joshua needed a local opponent to help fill the massive Wembley Stadium. Zhilei Zhang, another potential contender, wasn't a feasible choice since he's not from the UK and is already 41 years old. A loss to Zhang could spell the end of Joshua's career, putting him in the same precarious position as Deontay Wilder. Joshua himself isn't far from that age bracket, as he will turn 35 in October. Securing the IBF title is crucial for Joshua to strengthen his negotiating position for a future clash with the winner of the Tyson Fury vs. Alexander Usyk 2 rematch, scheduled for December 21st. Possessing the IBF belt would provide Joshua with greater leverage at the negotiating table compared to entering talks empty-handed. Joshua likely believes that having any title, even an interim one, is important for his image when he steps into the ring. The visual of Joshua holding a belt, even if it's just the interim IBF title, plays better with casual fans than if he walked in without one. Since his second loss to Alexander Usyk 4 fights ago, AJ hasn't faced a top-tier opponent. His promoter, Eddie Hearn, has strategically matched him against a series of less challenging opponents to rebuild his brand with the UK public and restore his confidence. Victories over easier opponents like Otto Wallen, Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, and Francis Ngannou have been part of this strategy, but it's crucial that Joshua now faces a more formidable adversary instead of the second-tier fighters he's been up against recently. Dubois' 8th round TKO win over previously unbeaten IBF mandatory Filip Hrgovic last Saturday night during the foot event in Riyadh generated significant buzz. The 26-year-old Dubois was the standout performer of the night, making this an opportune moment for Joshua to face him. However, there is a downside. Dubois' confidence is at an all-time high, and he might prove to be too much for Joshua, who has consistently shown vulnerabilities in his career, such as a weak chin and poor stamina. Joshua tends to tire quickly against strong opponents and struggles to recover when he takes a hard hit. Subscribe. Please like and comment. This is very important for the development of the channel. See you later.